Arcadia, the arcade game. Arcadia was released on March 15, 1985 and quickly became a popular arcade game during the golden age of arcade gaming. It was developed by a small but passionate team of designers and programmers at a company called Pixelworks Studio, a modest game development firm based in Japan. The lead creators, Kenji Nakamura and Akira Tanaka, were inspired by the growing popularity of space-themed games and wanted to create something that would captivate players with a combination of challenging gameplay, colorful visuals, and a rich storyline. The idea for Arcadia was born from the creators' love for both sci-fi films and classic mythological tales. Nakamura and Tanaka wanted to merge two very different worlds, ancient myths and futuristic space exploration. The result was Arcadia, a game where players control a hero on a quest to protect the last safe haven of humanity, the mythical city of Arcadia, from alien invaders. The game is a top-down shooter, where players guide their character through different levels filled with enemies, obstacles, and power-ups. The levels were designed to resemble different mythological landscapes, such as deserts, ancient temples, and even space stations that look like they were carved out of old ruins. The final boss is a powerful alien lord who resembles a mix of a Greek god and a cyborg, symbolizing the blend of ancient and futuristic elements that define the game. Arcadia was one of the first games to feature multiple endings, which was a groundbreaking concept at the time. Depending on the player's performance and choices, they could unlock different endings, each revealing more about the game's world and story. Inspiration behind the game. Nakamura and Tanaka were inspired by classic space shooters like Galaga and Space Invaders, but wanted to offer players a richer experience by adding a story rooted in mythology. They were also fascinated by movies like Star Wars and Blade Runner, which showed futuristic worlds, and they wanted to combine that aesthetic with the stories they grew up reading, such as Greek and Roman myths. The creators believed that gamers were ready for a game that wasn't just about shooting enemies, but also had a narrative that players could invest in. They wanted to create something that would appeal to both casual players and those who craved a deeper story in their games. This was a bold move at a time when most arcade games focused purely on high scores and action. Reception. When Arcadia was first released, it was met with positive reception from both gamers and critics. Players praised the game's unique blend of mythology and science fiction, and many were impressed by the multiple endings and the amount of detail in the levels. The game's difficulty, however, was often mentioned, with some players feeling that it was one of the more challenging arcade games of the time. Despite this, Arcadia developed a dedicated fan base. Word of mouth helped spread its popularity, and it became one of the top-grossing arcade games in Japan for several months. It eventually gained a cult following in the United States as well, where it was ported to home consoles in the late 1980s. Today, Arcadia is remembered as a classic of the arcade era, a game that pushed the boundaries of storytelling in video games and introduced new gameplay mechanics that inspired future generations of game developers. If you liked the video, subscribe, like, and write to me in the comments, what do you want to be the next arcade game that we will learn the story of? Until next time, be well.